You're listening to the Table Talk with your host, Anthony Irvin, aka Spoken Light. Tune in every other Thursday starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me and a new special guest live on Facebook and Twitch. Let's start the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I am your host, Anthony Irvin. This is episode 22. We are approaching the 1 year mark of Table Talk, and I do got to say thank you for everybody that has been coming on and watching every episode, even if you're watching the replays or watching it, days or weeks later. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for showing the show some love, and also got to give another shout out to the Woodland String Band open mic. They are doing their 1 year anniversary open mic tonight. So if you guys are checking out some awesome artists out there from the local area, make sure you guys go check out on Facebook the Woodland String Band open mic. They have some awesome musicians that I personally know, and a couple have been on the show. So if not, make sure to go check them out, show them some love too. Just want to give them a happy and congrats on the 1 year mark. As well, I want to extend the invite and to everybody who is watching to, if they are willing and they want to support the show even more tonight, feel free to join us on Patreon. I have a private community over there on Patreon, and I want to give a shout out to my patrons, Bernadette, Dave, and Mary. Thank you all for being so supportive and, tuning into the show and giving me the tips that I need to help keep doing the show every week. And I love your support. The little tips you guys are able to give me every once in a while, and they're also getting the bonus footages of these shows that I don't air live, nor do I post on social media, so you can only see them on the Patreon. So where can you say, if you want to go to the Patreon, make sure you check that out on www.patreon.com/table_talk. You get all the access to bonus footage, as well as some songs that me and some past guests have done that are only on the Patreon account. There's 3 different tiers, and you guys can check them out at that link. I would love to have you guys join the community and support the show even further. So on to tonight's show. I have a awesome guest with me. He is another local area younger musician, but a lot of knowledge, just because there's a lot of knowledge, and we've been talking, and I'm looking forward to having a great chat with him tonight. So let's get him on here. Please, everybody, welcome Zac Chap, everybody. Hey.
What's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
Nice little intro.
Yeah, I try to do my best, man, every time. Try to give a hard intro to everybody.
So you said the Woodland String Band, Mama anniversary, happy anniversary to those guys. I actually signed up for that at this time, like right now, 7:30, about a week ago. And then I was like, oh, that can't
That's
work.
The same night.
I have this.
If only we can be in the same place at 2 different places at the same time.
So your past guest, Tom Curtis Jr., he actually took the spot.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going on right now. So it's pretty cool. He's freaking great, man. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, Tom's a great dude. Love Tom. Yeah, and I did a couple of the Woodland String Band open mics when they were first starting out, and then when I was taking my hiatus, I did no open mics, no live streams or anything, and so I definitely got to get back on there when the weeks that I'm not doing the show and everything, because there's a lot of great talented people on there too.
So I think I did every week but 5. Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Ford, they could tell you more about who's been on it. But I think I missed 5 total weeks, maybe more than that. I played almost every one, which is really cool. I didn't know that. Like, yeah, you played so much of this. What?
And it's all, they're only 15-minute sets, but they go so fast because the times that I'm usually playing, I'm trying to get so many songs in, because I feel the pressure of those 15 minutes. Like, oh, I got to make an impression on something for 15 minutes, and then by the time I get done one, because I'm so used to doing live looping songs. Sometimes a live looping song can take me 5-6 minutes just to get one full thing in. So I'm like, oh well, I'm already halfway done. So.
Yeah, I try to do the shorter songs on their page, especially if it's a 15-minute, any 15-minute one. I try to do the shorter songs. But if you want to do a long song or two, then there's your window. So many great support there. So many great people. the Woodland String Band, all their community, plus all like a lot of the Delco music scene, they're involved on that too, and
Yes.
people from all over the place. So it's just perfect.
Yeah, man. So, for those of you who may not know Zach, Zach, do you want to give a little background to who you are?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm from Delco. I mean, I helped co-found the Decom page back during COVID when it first started. I've been playing music for probably about 8 years, 5 years in the scene. I play bass and guitar, and I just released a single called "Communicate." And that's on Bandcamp.com. You go to Zac Chap Bandcamp. You can check out my first EP, Wingless, is on there as well as a single. So,
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting into talking more about your single tonight for sure, and knowing that it's your your latest or your first single, you were saying.
so this is my first real single. I've released
Okay.
stuff on SoundCloud in the past, singles, but this is like I actually went to a studio and I'm actually in the process of recording a record, a second EP,
Nice.
and it's a lot more formal, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
compared to my first record, which was just all done in my room alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel this. I was talking with my last guest, and we were talking a lot of music production and like home recordings and stuff. And it's amazing with technology right now that you can record a decently sounded studio recording in your bedroom, and that
With
uh,
almost no budget. You
with
really just
almost like $100 budget in
not
some
even
cases.
not even, man. Wingless was like maybe $50 in total
Right.
budget.
I
I
mean,
had an Apple iPhone, one of those earbuds. They come with the iPod,
yeah.
and it had the microphone on it. That was the microphone I used for the entire record, and I managed to make it pop and
Uh
layer it
huh.
a bit. How
Yeah,
I
I
did
mean,
it.
especially people who like record on the iPhones. I mean, the iPhone does have some good sound quality. I mean, there's people that obviously use the iPhone
Oh,
for their webcam. Some people use it for their audio. I mean, the audio on
not
those things
even
are
the
really
phone.
nice.
Not even the phone. The headphones that come with the phone.
Yeah,
And I
they're really
plug that
nice
into
too.
I plug that into my computer, and that was my main microphone for the vocals, for the
Yeah, for
guitar, for the bass,
for
for the
your
drums.
monitors. Yeah.
Literally everything on the record was done with this, part of my friendship, a shitty little mic, but it doesn't
Uh huh.
matter. In current day, that was 2018, but still, even they have more stuff now than they did 3 or 4 years ago. So it's pretty cool
Yeah,
to see how far it's
it's
come.
like the era of being the minimalist.
Right, indie has a whole new meaning.
Right. Yeah, man. So yeah, we were talking a little bit about like our upbringings with starting out playing music and stuff, and how you found your way of playing guitar, and learning with how you were learning to play Blackbird, and you're like, oh, like now I can play, and then you just want to go here and go there, and why don't you touch a little bit more on like how you came into learning the guitar and actually wanting to start actually do more songwriting and stuff.
Well, me and my buddy, we taught each other how to play basically every day. We both had very poor quality guitars, maybe less than $100 guitars, and
Uh huh.
the action was so high it would hurt your strings when you play. My fret fingers would bleed as I would play it because of how
Yeah.
hard I was pressing down. I had no calluses or anything,
Right.
and we basically just help each other get better. We never really took any formal lessons, but he watched stuff on YouTube. I didn't really like to do that. I like to listen to music
Hmm.
and maybe look up the sheet music or the tabs if I was
Yeah.
able to read it. Back then, I had no idea what I was even looking at. So it was pretty cool. It was definitely a challenge. Like you said, the first song I actually learned was Blackbird. I actually, after school, would just, oh, I can't do anything. I'm practicing. It's like, oh,
Right.
what are you practicing? I can't tell you. You know what I mean? It's going to be awesome. And it was like the first big challenge. And then I feel like that was the way I learned guitar really was just climbing obstacles like mentally, mental bridges. It's like, all right, well, I can do this. Well, now maybe I could do that. My buddy actually wrote a song, showed it to me. I'm like, wow, like you wrote a song. I write a bit too, but I
Uh
hadn't
huh.
written a song before. And I wrote a song and I was like, look what I could do. It was a friendly competition. I pay a lot of respect to like John and Paul. They stuck together for that entire time when they were the Beatles. And that's pretty much, it was the same basis. You know what I mean? It was two kids, had no idea what they were doing with
Hmm.
music. They liked music. They didn't know how to play it. And then it was about a year or two later, and we were both doing our own thing. It was really cool.
And that's how a lot of early bands usually started. There's like, hey, let's just jam and like see where it goes. I mean, you hear a lot about like I think one of the cases like it was like Nirvana. Like they didn't really expect to blow up or anything. They were just like
Right.
three dudes in a garage just saying like, hey, let's just play music because we love music. And then obviously I guess they either had some people saying like, hey, you guys need to be playing shows. They play a show. Five people come out, then they tell 10 people, then those 10 people tell 50, then those 50 tell five, like it, and then it just
Right.
blows up like a wildfire,
That's
and then
well, I'm still young. I never really had an interest in playing live or being a musician like full time. I just like to do it. It was really an escape for like therapy, just
right,
relieve stress and anxieties. And
absolutely.
then it led to my buddy, and he moved to Europe, and I started playing by myself. And then me and my one friend, we started a band called the Beekeepers, and that
Hmm.
was like the first like, oh, we're gonna play live. That was even before the Beekeepers were like, oh, we're gonna play live. So it was like Burlap and Bean. That was like the place where everybody started. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're
All
like,
right.
oh, we can
R.I.P.
go
to
there
the Burn Lap and
on a
Bean,
bunch
by
of
the
nights.
way.
It's actually later on that it's actually reopening as a different name by
That's what I heard.
Mr.
That I mean,
Jim
they were
Worcester.
getting rid of they were getting rid of the name, but they were reopening it. Some I didn't know. Did
Yeah,
they
he
figure
like
out a name
revived
yet,
it.
or
I forget the name off the top of my head, but I could definitely fact check it in a bit.
yeah?
Not to get away from the subject on the origins. So actually, Tom Curtis, he hosted an open mic Red Iron Pub, and that's how I really
Yeah.
got the network I had. But before I even played live, I saw McCartney live. It was I was working. I really wanted to go, and I didn't get a ticket. I couldn't go. My friend Charlie, great friend of mine, his uncle used to own McFadden's, the bar that was in the Citizens Bank Park,
Uh huh.
and they had box seats to everything. Like they can get tickets to anything. And I'm working. It's about 3 o'clock. I'm getting ready to finish. I clock out. I get a call. He's like, "Hey, you want to see McCartney?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to see McCartney tonight. Yeah, like
Yeah.
If I
I would
leave, if I
love
leave
to.
now, my boss is like, "Yeah, get out of here. Like you have to go see Paul McCartney." I'm like, "All right." And I swear, it was like a USB stick was like stuck into my brain.
Hmm.
Watched how he talked to the crowd and like his like swagger, like the way he was, and it was
Mm-hmm.
almost like he was trying to teach me how to play, like teach me how to play in front of a crowd.
I would
But
love to see Paul McCartney live.
it was one of those things where I felt like literally it was just me and him, and he was literally like, "This is what you want to. If you want to do this, these are the steps that you need to take." Now he didn't physically say any of these things, but in
Yeah.
my brain, it was like this knowledge. Just it was. I wasn't, I was just sober. I was just went. I watched it. I couldn't even drink it. I think I was like 19, so I
Yeah.
wasn't 21 yet. And I just remember like just it was like this whole course of knowledge just flowed in me. And after that, I said, "All right, I need to play live. This it's time now."
Yeah,
And that's how it
it's
really
always that one
started.
little thing that kind of sparks that fire to be like, hey, I love what he's doing. That's what I want to do. And that
It,
I feel
it
as a musician, you have something that always sparks that. And then even with musicians going to shows that are not actually theirs, like they listen to music a lot different than just a regular listener. I mean, it's one thing they're listening, like people go to listen to music, but
I
we listen to
I've
the music.
never done that. That was like the first time it ever happened. It was
Hmm.
literally like it was insanity. Like I can't. It was
It's a
surreal.
different
I can't
experience,
explain
man.
it. It was an astral experience. After that, I started playing live. I was okay. You could find all that stuff on Facebook, on the YouTube and
Yeah.
stuff as well. The early videos of me playing live. It's actually really cool to see the evolution and the formation of a
Uh huh.
style. And so I played Burlap and Bean. Started networking a bit. Somebody told me about Red Iron Pub, which
Mm-hmm.
is a bar. It used to be, it still is, but it's a different owner now, same name, and the whole story. Tom Curtis Jr. hosted that, and
Right.
that
Yeah, I
was
do
my
remember that.
in. That was my in. Jim Cunningham, big shout out again to him.
Yes.
Frank Scotty, Tom Curtis Jr., all these guys, Jim Tauscher, they're like literally like, if you want to do this, like this is, here's some tips. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like every time, but it was like if they got me one on one, they'd be like, hey, like try to sing higher. Like, I feel like you're like afraid to like sing to the crowd. I'm like, well, I am. Like, you got to get rid of that. I
Yeah.
mean, like everybody has these anxieties and fears. Like, even if you're not nervous, you still have that. You still have to overcome those obstacles to become a musician. That was before I knew what a gimmick was or like anything, like any of these
Right.
crazy terms that we have as musicians in this industry. I knew nothing about any of that.
Yeah.
And in this course of time, and I learned it all from these great people. I went to 2312. They gave me my first live gig, like where I got paid.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Hainedes, 314, all those guys, Rick and Chris, like same thing. Like, it was like stepping stones. Like they were like, oh, we thought we were it. We thought we were the last generation of live music. All these kids rap now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I like to play music. I want to, and then I found out I wanted to inspire people, and now we see who I am now. It's an incredible journey. It really is.
Yeah.
You can see all that through the history of the
Yeah,
videos.
and just like me, I felt the same way that going to open mics really helped me build my confidence up with being on stage by myself because I used to being in bands with two, three other dudes on stage, and
That's
I'm
how it
like, okay, well
started.
if I
Yeah,
mess up, nobody's gonna hear me. But when you're up there by yourself, unless people are like really, really paying attention, they hear every little
they were
knick-knack of what you're
interested.
doing.
The people I played with, they were interested, but they weren't interested in like really doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
that was what it really baffled me. I mean, I still jam with them from time to time, which is great. They're like my best friends, but it's a different game when you actually want to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing solo for real, and that's how I really started getting into it. I got bronchitis. I made wingless, and that was like the big wake up call. Was like I gotta quit smoking cigarettes. I gotta like get my health together, and I want to live. I want to inspire people. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Chris is saying, "Good point, Zach. You should rap too, though."
I could. I mean, I'm not big on rap. I like poetry. Rap
Yeah,
is
I've
poetry, but
never
it's a
been
different
too
form of
much on
poetry.
the rap. I have my people that I tend to be like, okay. I mean, if I'm in that type of mode, I can listen to them, but I'm not like a person like, oh, I got to listen to him today. Like it's always been, more, you know, blues,
There's some
rock, all those type.
there's some great rappers, man. Biggie Smalls,
Oh yeah,
Run
I mean,
DMC, Easy E. Like there's so many. Like I can name like 10 others that
oh yeah,
just
I mean,
really like,
80s,
strike my
90s,
spirit.
hip hop, all those guys. I mean, you can't go wrong with that era
It
of
it was
music.
the blues. They were in a shitty situation and they were trying to make better of themselves and they rapped about it and they talked about the struggle. If you want to be big, this is what you have to do, and this is also what you don't want to do. You don't
Absolutely.
want to sell drugs. You don't want to be a gangster on the street. It might look cool, but at the end of the day, it isn't. Like we have to pay our bills. Like I went to jail. Like these people, they're blues artists.
Yeah.
And then you go into the modern rap. Kind of Puff Daddy kind of like changed the scene. Like he kind of made rap more of a pop, more of a like he wanted rap on the billboard,
Mm-hmm.
and they did that. They incorporated like the rock with the rap. Like you have like Linkin Park comes in the 2000s. They're like a hybrid of both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to see how it evolved from the blues to almost rock and roll. Now you have these rappers. They're like, I have money, I have girls, I have fast cars.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get this. Like almost like early rock and roll, like the '70s, or the '80s rather, the hair bands. You
Yeah.
see like these gimmick bands. They come in and they're like driving the
Right.
motorcycles and all these crazy Mustangs and the hot rods. And
The
you're
whole
like, oh,
Motley
I
Crue
want a muscle
phase, that was
car.
what kind of
Motley
changed
Crue.
like the
Yep.
whole scenes of like, the
Yes.
whole, because like the Metallica type thrash metal bands were out there on the, the strip doing their thing. And then they saw these dudes like dressed up in makeup, like the Motley Crue guys, like, well, what the hell are
They
these
were
guys doing?
inspired
But then they're selling out people, they're selling out
Japan.
all those people.
In Japan, gimmick rock was the thing in the '80s, and Motley Crue it took that. There's a band called X Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys are the greatest metal band of all time. Even if some of their stuff is in Japanese, but some of their stuff in English is phenomenal. And these guys, there's this one guy, and his name's Yoshiki. He's the drummer and the keyboardist, and it's crazy. He's like one of the best drummers alive. He like kills himself playing drums, basically,
Mm.
and it's so cool. And Motley Crue, they're like, oh, like gimmick bands, like this is like Japan. Like they took that culture and Americanized it,
Right.
and it's so interesting to see that in the shift in the music scene.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I'm a music historian.
And it
It's
was all
great.
about, it's one thing, they were great musicians, but they were able to give you a show, an entertainment show as well. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw the Netflix special, the Motley Crue special, but like, they kind of
The dirt.
give you a good example of like, yeah, we can play music, but we want people to
Loosely,
remember
it's
our show.
loosely based. Yeah, it's loosely based on the true events.
Yeah, I mean, based on
They,
true
they took
events, but yeah.
they did what they could to like they left a lot out,
Hmm.
like, and then they put a lot in that maybe shouldn't have been there. Like
Right.
you got more of like these guys were just assholes. Basically, is what
Oh
that
yeah,
movie was.
yeah.
But really, that Nikki Sixx like really deeply cared about his music to the point where it drove him crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
where he didn't want to be that gimmick band. He wanted to entertain people. And then you
Yeah.
see the lengths that they take
They
to
didn't want to be
entertain
like the
people.
next this band or that band.
They
They wanted
put
to be something
and
different and
again,
like, do something.
you see
And it
elements
was
from
working.
Japan. They put Tommy Lee Jones in that device where he's spinning while playing drums, and it
Yeah.
was a gyroscopic device that was like engineering from Japan. Like you see like a lot of this stuff from Asia coming into the 80s, and it's still to this day that really shapes our music. And it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, it's fun being able to kind of analyze, how music changes even in like a short span of time. There's always something changing with music, something that's always going to take, whatever that current like we're in some type of current situation with music now. Probably about another 5-10 years, something else is gonna, start changing because I think
Like
right now
bigger
it's like
things.
it's all in like that, with music, it's about capturing people within that 60-second time limit because we're all
Yep.
big on that social media
Even less,
kick,
even
with
less
like,
than that. If your 30 seconds doesn't captivate someone, they're scrolling. They're going to
yep,
the next thing. That's just
even
how it is.
then, because I think I've seen like
Probably less than
studies
30
like
seconds.
it's like if you're not captured within like a second or two, I think it's even like less than a second. If
Yeah,
there's something that doesn't capture somebody in like less than a second, they're scrolling. So it's like you have to have
exactly.
something that pops in and like has their attention right off the bat,
The hard part is now, with that in mind, while playing, you have to like get that out of the back of your head
Yeah,
because you're not gonna play as well. You just need to do your thing. Like
yeah,
especially with camera shows where you're doing just live broadcasting to decom or woodland. Just don't worry about the viewers because the replay value is insanely high. Like we did just a shout plug in the casual. I've podcast Wednesday late night show on the DCOM. Now
yes,
we have our own page for the casual. Feel free to like and share whatever you guys want to do. And yeah, it's pretty cool because last night it said we had about like 18 to 19 people that watched it total, and then I woke up this morning and it was about 90 views. It's
yeah.
like wow, because
Yeah, the
people
replay
enjoy
values are really good,
replays.
especially with here too. Sometimes it'll have nights where you have your nights where you don't have too many, but then the next morning, it almost doubles because replay value and people that because especially with social media, if somebody doesn't catch it when it's live, they're like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be on replay. I can always catch it in a couple hours later. Or if I'm doing something, I'll catch it on the replay. So it's
People tend to watch podcasts before they're going to work, like while they're drinking their coffee in the morning,
mm-hmm,
like reading a newspaper. This is like the new newspaper. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, oh, what interesting things am I going to learn from this today? And
absolutely,
then you
yeah,
have people that also listen at the end of the night, where they're like getting ready to go to sleep. Oh, I need to put something on,
yeah.
something calming. Which this is very calming. This is like a nicest atmosphere on any podcast I've ever been on. It's great. Thank you
Right.
for having me on here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Pretty neat.
I did want to talk about your podcast. You are also a podcaster. You run the Wednesday night, the casual on the Delco Quarantine open mic page. So that is also an open mic that they do on there. And you also run the late night podcast called the Casual. Tell us a little bit more about, getting started with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, so me, John Taylor, and Tara, as if you don't know, when COVID first started on the 16th of March, the three of us, we put our minds together. We made the Delco Quarantine open mic page.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we had signups, and it was like every day, like people were fighting each other to sign up. So then we just, after doing it for so long, we said, just do open platform. COVID starting. This is when COVID was like dying down for the first time,
Right.
if you will. So nobody was really going live our open platform, and
Yeah.
I missed having the signups. I thought it was
I
really
do too,
cool.
and I was
You
saying when you were
know?
saying about the signups, like, dude, when it hit at 1 o'clock,
And
you better be on that thing at 1 o'clock. Otherwise,
yeah,
in 5-10 minutes, you were not getting a spot.
so
I was
so
so
then
surprised how quick those things filled up.
I actually beta tested Monday, and Monday was not doing it for me. Like it
Hmm.
just wasn't working. And then Shane and Mark, they did like the Monday night thing,
Yeah.
and that was one of even like branded. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday will work. And I have catchy names. I was like, Casual Wednesday and then Casual Open Mic,
Yeah.
and it was like the same thing. It was like put out the list between 12 and 1. And the second I put it out, it's filled still, and it's just so neat. And because I saw a lot of other pages still had signups, and they're
Yeah.
still going, and I was like, well, why don't we have that anymore? That was like
Right.
we're the like the first people to do this.
Yeah.
So I did. I got to, we always talk in the group like if we're going to launch a new program, if like something like that. I'm like, hey, like we're going to do this, and then the casual podcast was inspired by, of course, Delco After Dark, like the father of all Delco podcasts.
Shout out to Delco After Dark. Love those
Carl,
guys.
Frank, Mike, and Patty. Patty actually
Yeah.
started. They had the idea for it, and got all the great minds together to make it what it is. And then I was on there, one of their third guests, I think. And then, whatchamacallit, mind fart. They like really launched it, and I was on it again. And then in the green room, Carl was like, you should think about doing this. I think you'd be good at it because you're entertaining. And I don't know, like, and then he wasn't the first person to say that. So then it started building, and then I couldn't go live on Wednesday. And like, I always love to go live and give the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I like say like a compliment or five about each person that plays, and then play maybe a song or two.
Right.
And then I couldn't do that, and I was so upset. Like it like really hurt me, like that I couldn't like shout everybody out. Like, and then Lisa was like, "Oh, maybe you should do a post show." Light
Light
bulb.
bulb. There you go. Yep.
Lisa Lerman. It was her idea for that to even start. And then she's like, "Oh, well, I just meant for you to go live," and like no, this is like I'm having Chris Ryan on as a guest, and
Yeah.
we're going to interview him because he is the coolest, and he's like one of the newer musicians in the scene on the page.
Okay. Yeah. So
And so
Chris Ryan, he's been commenting. So he's the
he's
are
the
you
co-host.
co-host? Okay. So Chris
He's the
Ryan,
co-host.
thank you for watching,
So
and he was commenting saying he loved the show tonight. So thank you, Chris. Really appreciate you for watching tonight.
people love him. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "Nah, dude, people love you. Like that was a great show. That was a great pilot episode. Like that was a great show. Do you want to be the co-host? Like I can't do this alone."
Right.
That first 15 minutes doing it alone was brutal because you're not really talking to anybody. You're talking to the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
just
tough. It
weird.
really is.
I only talk to myself if I'm live or like playing guitar. I'll be like, "Oh, I got to play this song next." That's as far as I go, like talking to myself.
Right.
You know, so it was just weird to me. I was like, "Chris, like you and I have great chemistry. Like we'll do this together every week. We're gonna get guests on here. Sometimes we don't, and it was just us two." And then last night, he phoned his brother Kevin, and Kevin came on the show, and it was the first time I ever talked to him. And this guy is
Nice.
a really cool guy. So it's just pretty much how this is. It's just there's not really a script. We go live and just talk about the night and all the
Yeah.
people that play, of course. We plug different podcasts like yours. We plug Table Talk like every week. Like we're like, "Oh, check out
I
anything good on
appreciate
Table
that.
Talk."
Yeah, I was watching a little last
Playlist.
night when I was kind of just chilling in my bed a little bit. I was like, oh, I saw the casuals on. I'm like, all right, let me tune in here for a little bit. Kind of see because I've watched a handful of times, and it's definitely like that table talk Delco After Dark kind of chill vibey type hangout session. It's cool.
So my I'd say four influences would be Letterman, Stern, Carson, and now Carl Park. Like he was really like, I just like watch how he did it, and I was like, he's like killer at talk show hosting. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could see him on TV. Like I could see him on NBC. Like instead of Kimmel, it's Carl Park.
The
Tonight, Carl Park.
Carl Park Tonight Show.
He's so hip. He knows like the in thing all the time. Like I don't know how he gets this information. Like he knows where everybody's playing. He knows like the you name it. Like he has like random trivia. Like he reminds me of Letterman. And I could see him like kicking Kimmel's ass and really taking over and saying like, "Hey, like I'm the talk show host now."
Yeah.
He's so good at what he does. He's a great interviewer, and that was really like that's how I want it to be. Like when I went live, I was like, "Hey, I want to do this too." Try to be
Yeah.
with Carl. He gave me like all the tips I needed too to like get started. He was like, "Oh, like OBS, it's cake." I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's definitely fun to have somebody to kind of just show you the the little startups about how to get something going, and then you go off and do your own research. And that's kind of how this started. I had a little bit of light bulb moment when I was online. I was live with somebody who kind of gave me that light bulb, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I never thought of maybe doing a talk show type of thing, but I needed some type of thing to, keep my mind interested instead of because I was doing live music since April of that time, and I'm like I need something to get my mind out of that always doing live music and always doing because I was doing 3 shows a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, and I was like, all right, well, I need to change it up. Because I feel, sometimes if you're doing so many shows, then you don't get as many viewers every show because they figured, okay, if you're going so many times, okay, if I don't get you on a Tuesday, I'll get you on a Thursday or I'll get you on a
I
Saturday.
found that. I found that as well. I stopped going live as much, just because I work and other
Yeah.
things going on. My, a lot of the music stuff. Like we'll get into the single in a bit. Um, yeah, it's just I got busy and I couldn't go live. Like I felt like I was letting people down at first, but I was like, no, like I need to like take a break. I was going
Yeah.
live like 4 or 5 times a week. You know what I mean? That was just too much. And that even before COVID, I was doing that, like going to open mics and such. So it was just really cool to take a break and really practice the craft more. And then when I came back,
Mm-hmm.
it was like everybody was like, "Oh my, it was so, it was really cool."
And that's what I
Really
feel
neat.
about COVID. I mean, it's a shame that we had to resort to a lot of these restrictions and staying home. But I feel as musicians, maybe we needed that reset for a lot of people. Like, we were getting in this consistent view of like, okay, you got a show, you're playing the same songs, you're just like, hey, I'm doing what I got to do. But now you're home, no shows. Like, okay, maybe this is the reset button I needed. I'm going to, practice my craft a little bit more. I'm going to practice a whole new set so that when, we start getting into shows and more consistent again, it's going to be a brand new me and I'm going to be a brand new person. And people are going to be like, wow, he came out of this like even better than like I loved going to his shows before, but now like I got to see him almost every time he's playing because I've been seeing him. So I was able to upgrade a lot of my equipment, you know, and do this and do a little bit of that. So I'm hoping to kind of just at least come out of this with a little bit of new experiences to be like this was the old me like pre-pandemic and then post-pandemic. It's a brand new me. I can play a little bit more of this and a little bit of that. So
Heck, man, I think that's a lot of people. I think, especially in our front of the Delco scene, I think there's a lot of people that are going to be coming out of this very strong. I think we're going to see a lot of success for all these musicians,
yes.
especially the ones that really want to pursue greatness and really want to like change the scene. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a lot more people rising to the surface from the cracks, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the single just
Thank
came
you,
out. You
Lisa.
can go on, Lisa. Thank you for watching. We, on Bandcamp. It's on iTunes. Anywhere you could buy it. It's also on SoundCloud. You don't want to say that, but it's also on SoundCloud, so you can go on there and listen to it for free if you like it. And then on Bandcamp, it's $2. You can go and check it out. And if you buy it, I get an email and it says that you bought it, and then there's stickers coming out. I'm gonna have T-shirts, a whole bunch of merchandise coming out for Zac Chap music and all things that communicates about just communicating. Just talk to your friends and loved ones, tell them that you're there for them, and you never know what could happen.
Yeah, man.
We are all forced inside, and a lot of people are introverts, but now we are all forced to be introverts, and it's a very tough time for a lot of us, and that's just about maybe answering that phone instead of throwing it and not talking to anybody, or maybe put the phone down and actually have a conversation with somebody face to face. So
Yeah,
if it's any way you want to interpret the chorus of the song, have you listened to it?
I have. I
Yeah.
do I did listen to it the other day, and with a lot of your producers that you were mentioning, I definitely see a lot of those influences and like the vibey. I love the guitar work, and it has like a lot of vibey feels, and I really like the guitar work in there.
And it was Matt D. McKelly on lead guitar. Phenomenal. He's going to be the next Zappa. I'm telling you, he can play anything. And then you have Chris Ryan, actually, co-host of The Casual and commenter on Table Talk on the organs. They're in
Very
there somewhere.
nice.
And then we have some great mixers, masters. Like if you go and you can read the personnel on your leisure. And it's really cool to see these legends, coming to work with me. And it was such an honor and an opportunity to do that.
You said you
And
actually had one of the producers who produced the Grateful Dead.
Uh, his name's Michael McGinn, and he works with Bob Weir. Muskrat Flats is actually recorded with them as well,
Okay,
and it's pretty cool. So that's how
that's
I made
awesome,
that
man.
connection, and yeah, it's pretty neat to see that come to fruition, and hoping to keep working with them and Yeah, I mean, just this whole music community. I mean, like Muskrats, like I've done sound for them and like helped them out and stuff. Like this is like I've learned so much from them, and they're you know great influences of mine. They're a Delco music band, Muskrat Flats. Patty McCann, the founder of the Delco After Dark. It's his band,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool. Him and his brother, and yeah, his brother actually helps me out a little bit with some music stuff. It gives me some pointers and points me in the right direction for like networking and stuff like that. So it's really cool. If you need
It's
any
always good
music
to
help,
have people like that.
young or old, if you're just getting in the business or you've been in the business a long time, but you need some kind of guidance, definitely Matty McCann's the go-to guy. He's killer. He actually produced Kyle Pilik's record, Pilik, and I picked this up backwards for you guys, and there's some really cool songs on here. You could actually go to pilik.com and check it out. And the CD, this is my favorite part because it has like all the producer credits on it and stuff. But for all of us vintage folk, it looks like a 45.
Very nice. Yeah, that's vintage right there.
Not
That's
even
when
a
you
record.
know it's real.
I thought it was a record. Oh, and I opened it. I'm like, did he send me a 45 Max? What the? No, and it has like his card in there too. Like it says like who he is. So definitely like stepping. Might take this step as well. It looks really
Yeah.
good. So,
And speaking of vinyls, I did a thing for vinyls. This New York recording studio, Lista Villa Recording Studios, has been doing something. I'm not sure if they're currently doing it, but they were doing it this time last year, where they would be asking artists to record cover songs for people and record them individually, send them out to them. They'll print it onto a vinyl and they give it back to them to ship it out to the people that you played it for. So I did that last year, and I had a couple people buy some vinyls for me, and they came with the personalized Lista Villa Spoken Life. I think it was a 7-inch vinyl, and it was a personalized vinyl made personally for them of me playing a song for them that they picked. So it was a
now,
really cool experience.
did you have to pay for that? Was that
No, upfront cost, no. So basically, it was basically for the artist. So whatever money you made was basically what you weren't getting. You didn't have to put up any money. You're basically making money if you didn't make any money, you didn't make any money. You didn't have to pay for anything.
that sounds really cool? What was it? The Villa, New York Villa,
It's Lesta Villa Recordings.
Lester Villa Recordings. Yeah, look into that.
They're
It sounds
they're
really
out
cool.
of New York. I'll definitely send you a link to those, and
Oh,
it's
oh, yeah,
really cool.
definitely.
It's really cool because you just they set you up a homepage, and you just put up a whole bunch of covers that you would think people would be interested. Send people to the page. They pick the song that they want you to play. Then you individually record. So say I paid for you to play a song for me. Say I wanted you to play Blackbird for me. So you go and record Blackbird, and then you send them the audio file. They'll print it to a vinyl, and then they'll send it to me. So then that's
Okay,
it.
that's
So it's
pretty
cool.
man.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. And you get to give them like a personal message before you play too, like, hey, thanks for purchasing a vinyl. I hope you enjoy this. This is so and so of me playing this song, and you play the song. And so I think the song had to be within no longer than a certain amount of time, because I think the vinyls only print a certain amount of time.
Right.
So you had to make sure that the song was no longer than, I think, 5 minutes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how many songs are longer than 5 minutes?
Right. And some of them
Especially
I
if
did
you
a
hear 'em
little
on
bit of
radio,
live
I mean-
looping on them, so I had to make sure I was, either had the loop prepared. So like sometimes it takes like a minute to build a loop, so I had to make sure that the loop was already prepared. So that kind of cut down like a minute for me.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, if you're
Cool,
just
man.
doing straight acoustic and acoustic guitar and vocals, then yeah, I mean most covers, depending on unless you're playing certain songs that are way over.
I'm a nut. Like if I go to record a track in my house, I wind up grabbing my bass, grabbing a
Yeah.
drum, like my, like I can't like, because I hear it in my head and I'm like, well, I need it. I'm not too good at lead guitar, but when I do, it sounds okay. I have a B side for Communicate, still in pre-release stages. and
Mm-hmm.
that's everything, just wingless style. I've done everything myself on it: drums, lead guitar,
Awesome.
bass guitar, backup vocals, everything. It's pretty cool. So I'm excited for that release as well. It's called "In the Rust,"
Mm.
one of the newer songs I wrote. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So let's get into one of the
You said
newest
there's a
segments that we
wheel.
have on here. Yeah,
You
let's
said
spin this wheel, buddy. So we have the table talk wheel. So we have three different topics, Zach. We have a top five, a this or that, or a topic question. So let's give this thing a spin and see what we come up with tonight.
oh, it actually spins. That's cool.
Between
It
topic and
landed
top
in the middle.
five, it landed in the middle
That's like
tonight.
the top three topics. How
You know
does
what?
that work?
I think we need to spin this one more time because that is never that's a table talk first. Let's see. We got this or that. We got the first time doing this or that.
This or that?
This or that, everybody. So, this or that is a game that I made up of basic things that, you pick two categories or little two, phrases, and you come out with a quick answer of which one you like better. And chat, if you guys are watching, you can, chat along with and, do the same thing with us. And so I'm just going to pick a couple and we're just going to, discuss them. So, first one, cookies or cake?
I'm gluten free.
Ah,
So
great start.
I guess cake. I mean, I miss cake the most. So
That's a great start.
good answer.
Yeah. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Boat or plane?
Boat. Boats all the way. Boats.
Superman or Batman?
I'm not. Batman wins, so Batman.
I gotta say Batman as well on that one. I'm a
He
Batman
wins.
fan
He
until
wins
I
at the
die.
end. He kills Superman.
TV
Yes,
shows or
love that.
TV shows or movies?
Movies. They're more compelling. TV shows end on such a shitty note, and all the time you never get a good ending.
Yeah.
Movies.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner, for sure.
Being warm or being cold?
Warm. Summer.
Piercings or tattoos?
Tattoo singular or plural. No piercings.
Okay, and last one, Christmas or Halloween?
Halloween, of course.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Christmas. My wife is a big Christmas fan, but I love Halloween. I always loved it as a kid, dressing up and, I'm not much of a scary movie person, but I love my, Michael Myers, Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees,
Those ones are cheesy. I don't even call them horror movies. Even as a kid, you knew
yeah, I
there's a
mean
guy in
they're the
costume.
cheesier ones, but I mean to
Now,
me they're the classics of I at least
now
always got to
the
watch a Michael Myers movie.
not the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Yes, that's a good one too.
That
I usually try
that
to catch that one too.
scared the hell out of me growing up. I saw it when I
Yeah.
was 6 or 7. Oh my god! I had a dream where I became friends with him and turned him into a good guy, the Leatherface dude. You don't need to chainsaw people. And that's
No.
how I got over that that scary guy's gonna take your face. You know what I mean?
Because every time you
Nah,
start a chainsaw, you always got to wave it in the air,
yeah, because you got to do that.
Yeah.
So that freaked me out. So then it was had to get over that one. That was my first big scary movie that actually scared me. I'm big into being scared.
Yeah, right?
Scary movies don't
And
scare me.
Piercings, tattoos. I would have to probably go with tattoos as well. I mean, I had my ear pierced. That's the only piercing I've ever really had. I don't have any
I would
tattoos, but
never.
I've always wanted a tattoo. I just haven't had the idea to be okay, I definitely want that on my arm. And I've
Yeah,
always had the cliche of
right.
oh, I can put a guitar on my arm, but I'm I want something meaningful instead of just a guitar.
Oh, let me get I don't know, something stupid, and then 50 years down the road, it's why did I get this tattoo? You know, it's
That's
like,
why that's why I'm like hesitant. I'm like, I want to
Mhm.
get this now, but what am I going to think about it in my 50s or 60s? Like, why was I so stupid to get that?
Right. That was
uh,
cool though. This or that. That was interesting. It's a 50-50 kind of thing. Like
right,
on the
yeah.
some of them, I was like, "Ooh, I gotta think about
And
this."
some of them are good, and some of them I didn't even say, but I wanted to kind of save some for different situations. But being warm or being cold, I'm a warm person. The only time I
Yeah,
like when it's cold is if it's snowing. If it's not
yeah. If
snowing
it's not
and it's
snowing
cold,
out,
I'm
forget
out.
about it.
I'm out.
But yeah, I was born in summer '97 during a heat wave. I think it was 108 degrees the day I was born. Of course, I was in air conditioned hospital.
When's your
But I've
birthday?
always July 24th of '97.
No
I was doing
way.
like a
I'm July
really
20th.
ah, there we go.
There you, there you
And
go.
and yeah, it was apparently really hot out. I've always preferred the heat over the cold.
hmm
The summer, like I flourish in the summer.
It's something
In the
with those
winter,
summer babies.
it's weird, man.
Yeah. Chat, if anybody heard any of the this or that questions, or if you're watching the podcast version later, feel free to comment your answers to the this or that questions.
Oh yeah,
I would love to hear your responses. And, I still got, Superman or Batman. I'm a Batman fan, diehard Batman fan.
now
Boat or plane
if
for
it was like
me.
Wolverine or Batman, that would have been a toughie because it's two different universes, two different things. I can talk
Yeah.
comic book all day, but
And with with friends, I have a lot of friends who are big in the Marvel universe, and I don't have too many friends who are X-Men, but they got me into the whole Marvel situation with watching Infinity War and Endgame, and I do gotta say, I mean, the Marvel
X-Men
universe
fight
is
the
die hard.
and it's badass. The X-Men in the comics, they fight the Avengers. There's a big war
Mm-hmm.
between the super mutants and the superheroes, and then eventually, of course, Wolverine becomes an Avenger.
Uh
He
huh.
becomes like one of the Avenger dudes somehow, and it's really cool to see how the movies are being done because it's $1 billion franchise, and it's
Oh
so
yeah.
neat to see Disney just putting all the money up front just to do this with Jon Favreau. Like he's a legendary director, so it's so cool to see him like as a kid he was like a nerdy kid, and now he's like actually directing these Iron Man. Like he never thought Iron Man would be this what it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's like every T-shirt a kid like you see Iron Man everywhere. It's like so cool. Like his he really brought it to life. This guy, this guy's just like yeah I know.
That guy.
I'm in all the
Cameos of
movies.
cameos on Table Talk.
Excelsior. Uh, superimpose it. Yeah. Excelsior.
For those watching the podcast version, we got a little bobblehead of the Stan Lee.
Stan Lee himself, he pops into the casual and expresses his opinions whenever we need him to. And he's firm. He's a stubborn bobblehead. Let me tell you.
So we were talking about your single earlier, Zach, and especially you were saying the fact that you're only a couple years in with playing guitar and how far you've come, especially, and you're always trying to help people with telling them just keep on doing what you're doing. And if you were to say to somebody who's just starting out with playing guitar, how would you tell them to how would you keep them inspired to continue to play? I've always told people try to find things about the guitar that want you to keep practicing and learning something, instead of just being like, oh well, I just got to learn this chord and I think I'll be okay. Like, try to find dig into it deeper, find things that you're practicing that makes it fun instead of always making it like a chore, and then you won't be as mad about like, oh, I can't get this chord or I can't get this. If you continue to make it fun and something that inspires you to keep going, then it's always, you're never going to want to put it down.
It's a great question. If I could say anything to anybody learning guitar, I would say just if you really want to learn it, if you're just learning it to learn it, like just to like you said, just to strum a chord or learn a song, and it's like, well, then do that. And then if you like it, keep going. And just time, like you can just pick up something, anything, no matter what it is, and be good at it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like name 5 things. This is for the viewers. Name 5 things that you want to do that you can't do, or or something that you're really good at, and think about the first time that you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better way to look at it. The first time that you've done it, and you're gonna think back, wow, I've really had to practice to get to where I'm at now, and that's all it takes. To just practice makes perfect. I know that sounds corny, and it's a shame, but it's true. If you really, learn the guitar and you really want to learn the instrument, then just spend time with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things that, unless you just have that thing, you do have to spend some time,
That's not even
learning
the
the
case either.
craft.
I mean, I don't think that is. Like, I don't think the natural talents are one thing,
Hmm.
but even if it's you're not going to know how you're doing the first time you look at the guitar.
Yeah.
Even if you're like born with that gift or whatever, you're still going to have to take the time to
Right.
learn some of it. Like nobody can just pick anything up. And, like, I just don't think that's human nature
Yeah,
to
it's
be able
just
to just
more people
do
pick
it.
it up a little bit quicker than others.
Exactly.
You still have to go through that beginner phase, but it's just a
But
matter of
still wait.
some people get through that beginner phase a little bit quicker than others.
Now to go off of that, now if you see somebody learning guitar more quickly than you, that doesn't mean give up
Yeah.
or that you're not good at it. It just means that, like Anthony just said, it just takes a little bit more time
Right.
than it might for you than it does somebody else, because it's a very spiritual thing. Like, you need to know yourself to play guitar. If you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to learn the instrument. It's a really weird thing. If you want to be a true musician, you have to know thyself.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. And it takes, especially with that, it does take a little bit to kind of, know
It's a
yourself as a
journey.
musician.
You have
But
to
you
know
got,
what you're
like you
signing
said,
up
you're talking
for.
about journeys. You got to enjoy the journey as it goes, and you're gonna learn
Oh yeah.
things and meet people along the way, and you just got to ride it
I
out.
I think back and I still see myself as that kid who's learning guitar in his basement, and I still want to prove to myself rather than anyone else that I can do this for real. And I think that's really is my drive. And then I often think back, and I still do think of myself as that. And then I think, wow, like, how did I get here? I'm on Table Talk right now. This is like pretty big deal stuff. Like, I'm honored to be here. You know what I mean? I think if you love what you do, and it'll it really will just come with you. Like, it'll something will cling on to you that's good energy, and you'll just get here. So it's so cool.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely, man,
incredible.
absolutely.
It's kind of surreal. It's hard to put to words.
Yeah, sometimes I mean the things like that. Sometimes it's hard to put in words, but sometimes you like the less words you take, the more meaningful they are. Instead of
Yeah.
trying to put too much wording into it, sometimes less is more in those ways.
Yep. It's incredible, man. The talent in this community is outstanding. It
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Every
looking
single
forward
person
to
brings something
hopefully
to
a
the
lot of
table.
these people coming out and not even necessarily just doing shows, but hopefully the community grows stronger in the live music scene, that people can form more bonds with people, even through the Delco quarantine open mic and all these other open mics that have formed over the last year, and just have a healthy growing music community that's just gonna strive throughout the next couple years.
I don't want to toot any horns, but I heard a rumor that the DCOM moderators, we are planning a little mini festival for when COVID's over.
Awesome. I did hear a
So,
little bit of something about those things going, so that'd be cool.
nothing's in stone, but
Yeah.
it's still. I just want to put the word out there. It's still a thing. We still talk about it. We're like planning stages.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna happen. You're gonna see me, John Taylor, all of your favorite Delco musicians, hopefully Anthony, all in person.
I would love
I
to.
think that'd be
Yeah.
really cool. Hopefully in this region, in this area,
Yeah.
so it's not too far away for anybody, or if anybody's traveling from out of state, they can actually see Delco for what it is,
Yeah.
and not just a brand that we shine. Rather, we put a very dark place on a very happy spectrum, and that
Yeah.
is the Delco music scene.
And
So
it's funny because now people that are talking about Philly, it seems like you can't talk about Philly without somebody mentioning
Delco,
Delco now.
Delco accent.
Yep, that Delco accent.
My Delco accent's hidden away. I say water. People are like, "Could I get some water?" It's like,
I always just thought that was me. I always just said water. I thought it was just me because everybody would always like
all
it's
Delco,
water, and I'm like I've always
all
said water,
Delco.
and I'm like okay, well I guess I am Delco then.
But it wasn't until I traveled. It wasn't until I traveled and became like a bit more culture. Not that Delco doesn't have culture, because there's
Yeah.
a shit ton of culture in Delco. That's why it's such a cataclysm of culture. So there's that accent, that Delco accent that everybody knows and loves now because of Kate Winslet and all the great East Time, Happy Murder, whatever you want to call that show. I don't even know what the show was. I'm not
Mhm.
big on TV. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see Delco going on the map. And I think
Yeah,
we had a little bit of something to do with that. The Delco page made ABC News
it did.
and circulated around a bit. And I think that helped Delco go on the map. Even if it didn't, I like to think that.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Delco's getting bigger and bigger by the day.
I love it.
If they don't know us, they will know us.
They know us now.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So Zach, where can people, again, before we get out of here, where can people find you and your music?
So I do have a Facebook page, Zac Chap Music, and I also am on SoundCloud, Bandcamp. Bandcamp's like where the single is. If you want to buy it, go to Bandcamp. Zac Chap, go to releases. You'll see the single, and then my first EP, Wingless, which is also available on there. I think for $4 or $5. So it's like 6 songs for like $4. I recorded and produced, mixed and mastered it myself. So check that out. Communicates a bit more formal. Recorded in studio. Great song. I just played it. If you missed out. Table talk, about 15 minutes ago. So yeah, I mean, you can find me on Bandcamp, pretty much anywhere. You can Google Zac Chap Music. It's really funny, and I'll pop up. Come a long way.
It's funny when you Google search
Spotify.
yourself sometimes, yeah.
No, I've had somebody do it for me actually. Because if you Google search yourself, the results will pop up for you.
Yeah.
Because Google search is based on your location, your cookies, like the information on your phone, and what you search. So, like, if you go to Louisiana and say the 2020 election, it'll say it was rigged. Because, like, that's, like, everybody there, like, believes it was rigged.
Believes it was rigged,
So
yeah.
Google's going to tell you, like, literally, there's a documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, and it goes into Google and how searches are and how social media played a big part in the elections and even Obama in 2008. Like, it's so cool. Really neat, man. It's really cool. Check that out. But yeah, the single. It's everywhere. Everywhere but Spotify. I'm not giving it to Spotify yet.
Well, yeah, make sure you guys check it out. It's definitely an awesome single, and good luck with it. I really hope it kind of gets the credibility that you want it to, and definitely keep on doing your thing, man. Thank you for being on here. We definitely got to do this again, and maybe you guys will be seeing me on the casual one day soon.
Yeah, so this is part 1 of the 2-part crossover. Check out Mr. Irvin and sometime in June.
Yeah, so we'll have to, get that set up, and you guys will be able to check me out on a Wednesday night, late night on the casual with Zach and Chris. Zach, we got to give some love to Chris as well. So,
dude, gotta give love to Chris. He's the reason why I keep doing it. He can, if you get Chris on a topic that he likes, forget about it. He can talk about it for 2 hours, and that's what we need. He has so much knowledge about some stuff, and it's so cool. And then it's like hand in hand. Like I'll like tell him, like, one episode we talked about the Stones, like Brian Jones and his influence on Jagger and Richards. He knew nothing about that, and I was shocked because it's like a big history buff like I am. So,
yeah,
pretty cool. My name is Zach. Zac Chap. You can find me everywhere.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure you guys check him out, follow him, subscribe. I think he's got some more music on the way. So YouTube, make sure you guys check him out there so you can keep up on all his music and his podcast. And I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. This has been Table Talk, episode 22. And again, if you guys want to be seeing some more bonus footage, that just started going live on the Patreon account. Again, you guys can go to the Patreon account by going to www.patreon.com/table_talk. You get some bonus footage from tonight's episode. And I will see you all on another episode in 2 weeks. Thank you all for being here. My name is Anthony Irvin. This is, again, my guest, Zac Chap. You guys have a great night. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a great night.